Alright everybody, this is Eternal Blade here, and welcome to part 1 of the Power Droid tutorial. So what you can expect from this part is how to model the entire body of our Power Droid, which you can see here. We're going to be using multiple reference images, mainly the blueprints that I found online. And we're going to take this from scratch. So basically, we're only going to be modeling a quarter of it, which you can see here, but we're going to make sure that the mesh is extremely clean, that we have our double symmetry modifiers for both the side and the top, and that our turbo smooth works just perfect. So hope you guys have a blast. Feel free to check out my Facebook profile, facebook.com/eternalblade, if you want to get some updates. But for now, let's begin. So to begin, let's first set up our scene here. So go to your Customize, Unit Setup, and just ensure you're in metric with centimeters, and you're in centimeters there. Alright, the next thing I want to do is just make sure your hotkeys are set up. So go to Customize User Interface, and then my favorite hotkey that I always use is Convert to Edit Poly. So if we go over to Convert, I make sure that mine is set to Control-Alt-Q, so just press Control-Alt-Q in here and assign. The other thing we want to do is go to our Rendering, Exposure Control. Let's just use V-Ray Exposure Control for now. Okay, and that's about all we need. So to begin with, let's take a look at some of our reference images here. So we've got quite a few to choose from. We have the blueprint ones, some little snippets from the video, just things like that. So we'll have quite a selection of what we can use as references. But to begin with, we're going to start with the main blueprint, which is this one over here. So what we're going to want to do is just go to your file info or properties and see what it is. So 980 by 1135. Alright? So what we can do there is make a plane in our, let's do the left-hand viewport. Alright, let's give it 1 and 1. And we're going to make the width 1135, and the length we can do as 980. Alright? And this will give us a nice plane to work with. Now press M to go into your material editor, and you want to use a V-Ray material since we have a V-Ray renderer enabled here. You can also use Mental Ray, just use a standard material. And in the diffuse map, standard bitmap, and let's go ahead and navigate to our project folder here. So we can go, here we go. And let's just choose this side image. Now double click on the bitmap and press the Show Material in Viewport button and go ahead and drag it over to our viewport. That way we can have an accurate representation of our image right in here. Now that we have that, let's go ahead and begin modeling. So press F3 here in the left-hand viewport and press G to get rid of the grid. And let's just begin to block out our scene. So we're just going to want to use a box. Actually, what we can do to make this even a little easier for ourselves is let's also do, let's rotate this in the front viewport, press F3. Let's rotate this exactly 90 degrees. So let's press A for angle snap and shift drag it 90 degrees. Okay, and we can make this shaded here as well as shaded in the left viewport. That way we don't have the shadows. Let's go ahead and just move this, alright, until we're sort of centered right here. Something like that should work. Okay, press G to get rid of the grid. So you can see we're kind of centering the droid here with our image. That seems pretty close. Alright, so now back into the left-hand viewport. Let's go ahead and start with our box. So we're going to use symmetry here. But we're going to model half this, I'm guessing. So let's go ahead and start with a box like this, and we'll just bring it out. Okay? So press W, and let's just drag this box out to here. Now let's see. Actually, it needs to go odd. Alright, we'll leave it here for now, I guess. So let's convert this to an editable poly. let's begin adding some geometry here. Alright, so let's do one connection and just bring it out. We drag this down just a bit and bring this one out to here, okay? And then what we can do is select that same edge, chamfer, and let's just give it one segment, and let's bring the chamfer up just until we get about the same height as right here. All right, so something just like that should work. Now what we can do is let's give this, let's see, what do we need to do? We need to come here, press F4. Let's go ahead and extrude these along the local normal so they'll extrude sort of directly outward. Alright, and we're just going to go ahead and extrude it just to the max there. Okay? That way we're going to get that full lip on the power droid. Then we can go ahead and come in here, loop, we need to ring, connect, and let's give it, let's see, we probably need 2 segments, should be good to start with. Let's press R and let's scale those down just a bit, press Control and click there, and we'll just bring them down just a little bit, something like that should do. Now if we shrink that, with luck, we'll be able to just click the internal polygons here. Alright, and let's extrude. Again, we're on the local normal, but this time we're going to extrude inward. Okay, just so we get that perfect little bevel right there. Now let's go ahead and just delete all the geometry here on the back. Because we're going to be using symmetry modifier, we don't really need it. Alright, just like that. And then there should be a little bit of geometry over here that we can delete as well. Perfect, just like that. Now what we can do is, let's see, just trying to plan my battles here. I'm going to take a look at these reference images, and you can see there's almost like another lip here on this one, kind of dips down. So we're going to try to make something similar to that. So let's go ahead and grab this topmost edge here, loop it, and let's maybe chamfer it just a little bit with 3 segments. Okay, and control click the polygons, shrink, and actually I think the best way is just grab this, loop it, control click the polygons, and then let's go here, press R, and we're going to scale these in just a bit. Okay, press W, we're going to drag them down just a bit. Alright, and then in the front view here, let's see, we need to probably drag them back just a tad, and then go over here and bring them back to where they should have been. Alright, now what that's going to do is it's going to let us kind of have an edge right there on our model. So if we deselect it, you can see we've got a nice little edge there. Alright, perfect. So just go ahead and change this to shaded as well, that way it stops being strange. Alright, so that'll be good for that edge. Now what we need to do is, let's see, we need to add some geometry here on the front. But I want to first make sure that we're the correct size, so let's grab our entire little droid here and just bring him forward. Alright, and actually we need to delete half of him, so we're going to mirror it in the XY as well. So let's go ahead and put one connection here. Alright, and select all the polygons on one side, and let's just go ahead and delete those. Alright, So now we just simply drag our droid over. He should fit pretty nice. And just go ahead and drag these right to the center there. Just like that. Perfect. Alright, so now what we can do is let's add some additional geometry here. So let's go ring, connect. We're going to add 2 connections. We're going to slide them a bit. And we're going to pinch them out just a tad. So we're just trying to get right between these 2 black dots there. Okay? And then what we can do is actually press Alt-X on the keyboard to make our mesh see-through here. And we're going to grab this and this, connect it once. We're just going to slide it over until it matches that side right there. Okay? Now grab this polygon and we can inset it just a little bit. So looking at the reference image, you can see about how much we want to inset it. So it's not terribly much. All right. Let's go ahead and actually no, we've made a slight mistake here. This looks like it needs to. Let's see if we go to the local. Let's move it up a bit till we get to the top. We actually need to be on the top of these and the top of the other one. So let's just go ahead and move that down. And let's go ahead and move this one over a bit. Alright, and I know it does make our mesh a bit messy, but just sort of the price we have to pay, I guess, for now. Let me see here. So now what we can do is grab this, and we're just going to extrude it backwards, just like this. Alright, so not too far. Alright, and then press R. Let's go ahead and scale this inward. Alright, now we're trying to reach that same bevel there. So let's just drag it up a little bit. You can go to the vertex subobject mode here and just align these together. You can move back into the view here. Something just like that. Then go ahead and delete the polygon over there and just drag this over to match. Okay, just like that. So now we've kind of got that initial bevel in there. And what we can do here is, let's see. Let's grab this and loop. Well, no, let's try a ring, see if it'll go around. Let's connect that with 2 segments, I believe. We're going to pinch them and slide them out kind of towards the edge here. Alright, now grab the middlemost segment there, and we're going to loop it. Let's go ahead and just drag it out a little bit, and then drag it up. Alright, something like that. So what we're going to get is something that sort of comes out. Okay, and then grab this one, loop, and let's just bring it out as well, just a little bit. And maybe bring a little over. Alright, let's individually edit some of these. We're just trying to get it to where we have sort of a little curve almost in the geometry. Alright, I think we've failed. Let's undo some of that. Alright, what did we mess up on here? So what we need to do is definitely drag that out. That should be it, really. Bring it in a bit. Scale it just a tiny bit. Alright, and then let's go ahead and chamfer this. 2 times should be enough. Alright, something like that. Should work nicely. Okay, perfect. So next, let's go ahead and add some edge loops here. So we're gonna click this one, and this one, this one, this one. Go on the top, and we need to go these ones here. Let's go ahead and chamfer these, and we can give it 2 segments. Actually, 1 segment is probably best. Well, we probably should just loop that and do the whole thing at once. Alright, and let's go ahead, let's see, and give it a fairly large chamfer there, about 4.3 centimeters. That should work. Let's go ahead for some of these edges. Okay. Just make sure you grab them all. And loop them. And missed one here. Loop that. Chamfer. We're going to give these a fairly small chamfer here. Just, you know, just a little bit. Something like that. Alright. And let's go ahead and grab this edge here. Loop. Chamfer. So the loop doesn't want to work. So we'll just select it all here. And give that a little small chamfer as well. And now these ones I believe also need it, so let's loop those, and you can deselect this geometry right here and chamfer, and give it a fairly large chamfer, something like that. Let's go ahead here and apply a turbo smooth and see what is happening. Okay, so press F3 here. That actually looks pretty good, at least on these areas. We do have some trouble up here, which I sort of expected. I think we can fix it, so let's go ahead and we're going to cut from this point sort of over, and out, and then we can go ahead here and getting out of your cut selection here, press Q. Just press Control Backspace on all of these lines here. Alright, and now you'll see we have sort of a little bit better mesh there. And let's turbo smooth that. Nope, so we need a little bit more, so go ahead and cut this. Okay, and let's do the same here for the bottom one, because I'm pretty sure it'll have a similar issue. Alright, we perhaps messed up a little bit here. Select this, Control Backspace, Control Backspace, and Control Backspace. Let's cut. Alright, and we'll just cut from these points over to the end here. I don't know if I actually need all this additional geometry here, but it does make it a bit nicer. Let's go ahead and Control Backspace a couple of these lines, like that. And then we go back into our Edit Poly here, cut, and just cut across, just like that. Alright, perfect. So because this is straight up and down, I believe we can just, well, I guess we can't just move it. It should be fine there for now. Next, what we need to do is add a bit of geometry sort of below it. So let's click here. Ring. Is it going to be a ring? No, not really. So let's just grab all of this geometry here. Connect with one segment, and let's just slide it well, sort of. Well, alright, we gotta fix these apparently. There's no way around it. So, let's go here, control backspace them all. Alright, and then let's go ahead and cut from that point, sort of over there, and from that point, right over there. Alright, now we're going to have a bit better cut. Alright, so now with these lines, oops, watch out you don't select the wrong thing here. So select that line, that line, that line, and then the one in the back. Let's do a connect, and just slide it up. Something like that. Let's do the same here. Alright, so connect, and that slides not very well. Do something like that, and let's go into the side viewport here. Let's just grab these and just sort of bring them down a little bit. Okay? You don't have to worry too much about the sides. So now, looking at our little droid, you can see we have some nice geometry here. I think we can go ahead and let's isolate this selection here for a second. Turn off the turbo smooth and isolate selection. Let's go ahead and delete these extra edges. I mean, I don't really think they need to go all the way to the back. I mean, yes, it leaves you with some n-gons, but in reality, it shouldn't affect us terribly much. In fact, I don't even know if we need that one. Well, we're going to leave it in for now. Alright, let's go ahead and turn our turbo smooth back on. So I guess we did need that geometry. Okay, so back to the editable poly here. Actually, I don't think we need that geometry specifically. I think we just need geometry. So let's go ahead and see if we can't fix this by adding some additional cuts here. So what if we go from here sort of up to there? Alright, now why is this doing what it's doing? Let's try deleting some of this. Maybe that'll do, have some effect on it. Not much. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I guess the only way really is just to make sure that these are doing the right thing. Alright, so I guess we have to cut them. There's really no other option here. So I was trying to avoid it if I could, just all the additional geometry there, but alright, so cut that across. Let's go ahead and cut this one across. Do the same for here. I'm just guessing as to about where it's going to fall. So So let's see with just that geometry if we resolved most of the issues. And it looks like we have. Alright. You can see we do have a little bit of something right there I'm not a big fan of. I wonder if there's not a better way to do this. Probably not. So I think we can live with that for now. Just curious, if we delete this line, will that do anything bad? Yes, it will. So we need that line in there. Alright, so we can go with that for now. Next, what we need to do is, let's see, well, that's actually the majority of the base of the droid there. So let's start working on some of the finer details. Let's end isolation mode. And let's come into here, and you can see we need this sort of like a swoop almost that comes down and over. So let's see how we can go about creating that swoop. So let's just bring this back to where it's supposed to be, somewhere like here. Alright, and it looks like actually the front of our little droid here, let's just hide those for a second, needs to come out just a bit more. So we're going to go ahead and, let's see, grab that. So grab the entire ring there, grow it once, and in the left-hand viewport here, let's just drag it out. Something like that. Alright, so that when we turbo smooth, you'll see we have a much bigger area there. Alright, perfect. And we can even, let's see here, grab this, loop it, press R, and just scale it inward just a bit, or maybe move it over in the view here, just to give it a bit thicker lip on it, something like that. That should work. And then we can go ahead and grab all the vertices on the side here, press R and just scale them inward, or you can use a make planar. It works for both of them. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and hide everything. Let's work on this little section here. So what we need is some additional geometry. So let's turn the turbo smooth off here for a bit and grab all of the edges right here. Alright, something like that. And let's press W and shift drag it over just to the edge there. Alright. Let's also grab our edges here, connect, and we want one segment, and just slide it down until we reach, let's go to the absolute top there. Alright. We can go ahead and, let's see, do we want to delete? Don't know if we want to delete these, but let's, well, we can try. We can always recreate them. Let's delete that. And we need to do the same down here. So connect, slide these sort of up to the top there. And let's, oops, not all those, just some of them like that. Alright, now if we go into our perspective here, let's go ahead and isolate our selection again. Alright, so we've kind of got this going on. Now what we need to do is grab this geometry here. Alright, something like this. And shift drag it out. Well, I guess we can just scale it with a shift. That should work as well. And then kind of bring it out to the center. So we're kind of making a little section that comes in. And it looks like it actually sort of ends a little bit higher. So looking at the reference image, you can see we have this like thing in the middle. So we just need to kind of curve it down, and you can just sort of end it anywhere inside there. So I guess we'll just bring it something like this. Okay. Now grab this little piece here and shift drag it over there. Something like that should do. And grab your vertice here. I'll make sure that your edges perspectives can be sort of strange. Make sure your edge is actually where it needs to be. And bring it down and bring it over. Okay, so that's sort of what we have right now. You just aligned a little bit better there. Alright, so now grab your vertices here and let's weld them. And there you go. Now we've got a weld. So now we've sort of created a little inlet here. We need to create a chamfer, I believe, to go along with it. So let's grab this edge here, as well as all of these ones. Let's go ahead and chamfer and make a pretty big chamfer, something like that. All right, now turning our turbo smooth back on, let's see what that does for us. So now we've got this nice edge that sort of comes up, which is exactly what we want according to the reference images. All right, perfect. So now let's go ahead and add a symmetry modifier to this. Okay, so symmetry modifier, and we need to, before the turbo smooth is fine, just drag it sort of back this way so we have something like that. Alright, now end your isolation mode and just edit this to where it matches just perfectly to your reference image. Alright, and if you need to move some of the vertices, just go ahead and do that in your left-hand viewport here. They may be just a bit short. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Maybe a bit more. Well, we'll just move it a bit closer. So, just like that. Alright. So now that we know it works on one side, let's isolate the selection again and go into your perspective here. And let's also actually add a symmetry on the other side. So add a secondary symmetry. And this one will be on the Z axis here. And just press 1 to access the symmetry mirror and just bring it in. So you can see we're pretty fat right now. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to edit some of those polys, but it should work for the time being. Yeah, it should work for the time being. So let's go ahead and go back into our editable poly. Let's do the same thing we did for the top to the bottom. So let's grab our edges here. Press R and shift scale them in and just move them over to the edge here and drag them up. Make sure you leave a little bit of a kind of an angle here. Now grab this edge here and simply shift drag it along one axis until you're almost equal. Alright, and you can work on equaling it up just a little bit. Something like that should do. Now weld. Alright, and you'll see you have a weld there. And then let's go ahead and perform our chamfer. So let's grab all the main edges here and chamfer them using the same large diameter chamfer we had before. Alright, and that should do it for that. So let's go ahead into our symmetries and see what we've got. So now we have a nice sort of U shape going on in here, which is exactly what we were after. Well, I think we might need to harden our chamfers off a little bit. So let's go back here into the edges, and let's chamfer those edges that we chamfered. I think we missed one here. There we go, and just chamfer them by a little bit. Oops. So what that should enable us is a harder edge there along the outside, which is sort of what we're after. Okay, something like that. Let's go ahead and do the same for the top here. So you can just grab all of the edges that we chamfered, and you can try looping them. It probably won't work. Oh, well, that actually did work. Alright, and give them a little chamfer as well. Not this edge though. Trying to think, that's not what it should look like. Maybe it is. Alright, so here we go. We've now got the edges sorted out, so we have that nice hard chamfer just like on the images. And next what we can do, let's see, and this is on the front and the back. I was looking at the references here, and I found inside of the sand crawler it turned around for a second. You can see it has just a big open space there in the back. Alright, go back to my other image there. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and get the scale correct. So end isolation mode here. Let's bring our entire droid forward. And wow, that is a fat power droid. I did not think ours was that fat. Alright, anyway, let's go into editable poly here. Grab these top two. Let's just bring them in and sort of make a subtle curve here. Alright, and bring it in like that. Let's go ahead and do the same for the bottom. It should be a bit easier here. And there we go. That'll just give it that sort of rounded shape that we're all used to. Alright. I'm still not fully happy with the way this polygon came out. I think I should have done something else. I'm debating trying it. Let's go ahead and save this real quick. I haven't actually saved this. So make sure you always have a project folder for your stuff. And I call this scene files. Let's try this Power Droid 01. Alright, so we're going to give this a go. If not, well, we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead to cut. I'll just cut this to the corner there, and cut that to the corner as well. Let's go ahead and try to get rid of some of our additional geometry here. So maybe something like that. Probably leave that one. Get rid of this one. Alright, let's go into our perspective here and just get rid of these as well. Loop and loop. Make sure we didn't do anything too bad. No, we didn't. And let's go back into our turbo smooth and see what it gives us. That's not terrible, but not quite what we wanted either. That's how it would have looked like if you had inset it a little bit. I have an idea. What happens if we cut that like that, and then go to there, and cut this like that, and then go to there, and go ahead and delete these mysterious edges right here. Actually, we need one more cut. Just trying to make this mesh a little bit cleaner if I can. It's pretty messy right about now. Alright. So what happens if we do something like this, and then we just orient that and orient this. And we do our turbo smooth. Oh-ho! We have success with nice mesh. Look at that. So that is exactly what we want to do for the other things. Let's go ahead and replicate that. So I knew something was a bit odd because the geometry looks weird. And when it looks weird, you can pretty much guarantee yourself that something is off. And we do need this piece of geometry here, which makes it a bit more difficult. Let's go ahead and isolate the selection here. Let's just take a look at the final thing for a second, just to see what we can and can't get rid of. So you should have some edges here. Alright, where do we want to go from? So that goes right from an edge. But our edge is sort of being used. What are the chances we need that edge? Let's see what that does. So that didn't really affect anything over here. Alright. And let's see. We actually should probably add some additional geometry here too. So let's use our cut tool here. Just cut right along here and then over there. And press Q. And let's go ahead and delete that. And delete that one there. Is that what we want? I think that's what we want. That'll just give us a smoother edge there. And we may have to add one piece of a geometry in there. So edge. What we need to do is actually just grab this edge here and this edge, the little edge that we can't select. Alright, and just move them up. Something like that. And then grab this edge and this. Not that one, this one. And move it over. That should give us a little more of a U shape. And it definitely does. Okay. So coming back to our main problem we were trying to resolve, which was this. Let's go ahead and back those out. Grab these, loop, and back them out. And since we've decided we don't actually need this piece of mesh here, we can back that out. And now, alright, we can get rid of this and this. And then I believe we can get rid of this one and this one, which should give us a nice edge again there. Now these are what we actually need to connect. So let's just drag that down. And let's drag it over. And let's drag this one down a little bit. And just sort of orient it. Just the same as we have up top there. Now, it's a bit different in that we don't have easy things to connect to here. So if I turbo smooth this, it should be a little messed up on the bottom, and it is. So how can we resolve this nicely? I think if we maybe connect, let's do a cut from, say, this edge here all the way over to this one. And I think this is going to cause trouble if I do this. It's not very clean at all. We'll try it, see what it does. It didn't actually cause too much trouble. I do have an issue over here though, which I didn't see earlier. What is our issue? We're missing a line. Why are we missing a line? Because we deleted it. Okay, I think this could solve the issue. So let's back that out, and we can maybe cut from that point over to that point, which will keep our geometry sort of smooth. I'm hoping it will eliminate any little issue we have. Okay, so we have smooth geometry everywhere now, including in the corners. It looks like we have a slight bulge right here, sort of coming out. Like, don't really know. It looks like we have one. Not sure where it's coming from. It probably wants a line here to here because we have this n-gon. So we're going to give it to it. We're going to cut it from that point over to here. And we're going to go ahead and cut this from here to here and see if that'll promote a little bit better mesh. Alright, so going into our Turbo Smooth again. Well, see, the problem is we have really close edges there, which is messing with the Turbo Smooth. And you don't want to have too much geometry too close. We should actually have edges sort of going around this way. So I think that's what we need to end up doing. So let's get rid of that and get rid of that. I think we need to get rid of this. I don't know of any other way. Well, we cut it down. No, that's a perfect idea. So let's go ahead and cut from that point down to that point. Did we not make the cut all the way? Apparently didn't. So let's try again. Cutting from that point all the way up to that point. Why is it stopping halfway? Clearly it doesn't enjoy being cut. Okay, well, we're making small wins here. Each time it's deciding to cut a little bit more. Sort of at some strange angles, I might add, but it is cutting. Let's control click, and we're gonna just straighten those out. And I do know it messed that up, so let's go ahead and fix it. Alright, maybe this will be the final cut that we can do it on. So I honestly have no idea why it is not working very well. Alright, there we go. That worked. Just needs a bit of cleanup here. Alright, something like that. And let's just select that stuff and press R. Scale it accordingly. And if we Turbo Smooth, alright. What did we do? That's what we want. Yes, so that's now nice and smooth, I believe. We can actually bring it out a bit though. So let's go ahead and grab these points and just drag them out to make a straight line so it sort of bulges out a little bit. And then for our front here, we had wanted to do what? Okay, so let's delete these pieces right here. I've decided that we're just going to cut straight across and around. So let's do a cut. We're going to cut from here sort of over to here-ish. Alright, and then let's do the same on the bottom. Alright, I didn't like that, so do it in multiple parts and just bring it around and bring it around. Alright, so now let's see if that is going to resolve our issues. And I do believe we have perfect mesh everywhere. Alright, nice. So now that we've got that, let's end isolation mode. Sometimes you gotta just take the time and actually spend it wisely. So I've seen we have a little bit of a line right here. So let's go ahead and try to add that in. So what we need to do is grab our bottom pieces here, connect, go into the front viewport here, actually connect, and we're going to shift drag or to slide it into position here. Alright, now go ahead and give this a chamfer until it's about the size of that line. Alright, control click the polygon and shrink. Now what we need to do now is go into our perspective here and let's extrude. We're doing it on the local normal here. Now we're going to extrude inward just a bit. Not too much, mind you, but just enough. So that should do nicely. Oops, watch out. You want to make sure you don't grab any of the wrong polygons. That will cause you a host of issues. And let's see here. So our line isn't quite straight. So let's go ahead and fix these vertices before we go any further. So what are we looking at here? So let's grab these and just sort of align them. Grab these and align them. And then let's move these up and align them. Alright, so we're just trying to resolve any issues we're going to have. So it's not perfect is the thing. Trying to think of the best way to make it perfect without actually causing myself a lot of headache. So I think we can move those down there. Should fix that. These, we can just align them by hand here. Alright, and just drag them over to maintain the same line they had before. Alright. Looks good like that. And then we've got these ones. Let's try moving them on the local here. And no, it's not going to work very well. So we can probably grab that polygon and move it sort of on the local. And then what else do we have? Let's isolate this selection here just so we can see it a little bit better. And that looks actually pretty good. Maybe move these vertices just a tiny bit up. We'll just go into view, we'll try to eyeball it here. Alright, so with the polygon selected, let's just grab that ring, control click the polygon. We can extrude it inward just a bit, okay, and then go ahead and delete the edges on the side there. So if we go to polygon, we delete that one, and we go ahead and delete that one. Alright, now we need to grab this edge and this edge, loop them, and chamfer. This is going to be a very small chamfer here. We want to have this as a pretty hard edge. and go ahead and do the same for the outer edges as well. Alright, just like this, chamfer. Alright, now let's go back into our Turbo Smooth and see if we have any fixing to do. So it's actually a pretty clean line we've managed. That almost never happens for me, but that's pretty good. Alright, so let's see. We're going to say that'll be an end to part 1 here, now that we've modeled the sort of the mainstay of the droid here, the big body portion. So I will see you guys next time.